Hi, it's Anya Devine here from sunny West Cork. If you're wanting to know more about what I do, have a look at the links below. Now I'm going to paint Ina from this photo in watercolour. I'm hoping to just spend five minutes or so on it. Okay, so it's a 3/4 view, turn of the head. My eyes are half closed as I look to identify the darks and lights in the face. I'm just cleaning it off there. Okay, so I'm going to begin by mixing some cadmium red with some sap green in order to get a dark that'll work for the shadow side of the face here. And I'm using the middle-sized 1.5 inch Rosemary & Co. Varnishing brush. They're the Anya Devine set actually, if you wanted to look them up. There's 3 different sizes that I really like using. You can achieve a clean edge, and you can also fill in quite a large area. Okay. So I'm looking at the shape of the space made between the bridge of the nose, the edge of the face there, and see how there's a kind of a vertical drop down then almost to where there's a little dip in for the chin. And for the chin there's a couple of different changes of direction. I think going that way maybe. Yeah. And I might just use a bit of paper towel there as a way of lifting out again the light that's on the bridge of the nose, because the nose comes quite close to the edge of the face from where I'm looking at her. Okay. And just following on from that, I'm putting in a little bit of cadmium orange. It's a yellowy orange that I'm putting in to the mix, along with some more red, so that it's a slightly warmer shade as I come across the face here. Just getting on the underside of the nose, it's a little bit in shadow. With my eyes half closed, really, there's a significant amount of shadow around here. And up here, the space between the eyebrows. Just drying off the brush a little because I don't want it streaming down and creating a big drip here. However, I do want to soften this edge here, where the skin of the face meets, where the shadow on the front of the face meets the side plane. There's a change in tone there, and this will be where the eye on the right hand side, as I'm looking at Ina, where the eye is going to sit. Just pulling it up and letting the water transport the pigment back down. And I'm identifying where it is that I want there to be a clean edge. Like, it's helpful to have a clean edge at the edge of the face. I'm not so much wanting yet to have edges in here. So anywhere that there is too significant an edge, I'm kind of allowing it to dissipate by putting water in there. I'm pulling it across a little more softly so that there's a feeling of form coming across the face there. And a touch of alizarin, the alizarin crimson. Just drying off the palette. A little bit of alizarin crimson will allow me to create a clear edge for the jaw here. I think a warm colour is helpful for the light, but as we go across, the cadmium orange seems to me to be a more appropriate colour there. And I'm going to water it down and use the cadmium orange mixed with whatever's left of the alizarin crimson in order to establish something of the light that's on the neck. Below the jaw there's a little bit more light than, there's a little bit of shadow below the jaw than what's above it and what's at the edge of the neck. And this would be kind of roughly where the ear is. The lower lobe of the ear is a little bit lower than the bottom of the nose. Yes, maybe about there. Okay. Nothing like a bit of urgency, because I know the memory is short on my phone, so I don't have a huge amount of space and time. So I'm able to more succinctly decide what needs to be done, I think. Alright, so having created the shape of the space within which the eye is going to sit over here, I'm now putting a little bit more, finding some more tones in that area. And the sap green mixed with the alizarin crimson is another dark that I quite like using, which I think I could inject into the wet paper there, so that it'll spread out. You'll get the hang of ways of allowing the watercolour to work with you You know, if you want it to spread, you'd put it on wet paper. If you don't want it to spread, let it alone for a while. Do something general somewhere else, and then you can come back when it's dry and re-establish what you want. So this is an example of where it's dry, and I want to clarify the shape of the triangular space of skin that's here under the nose, between the nose, the edge of the face, and where the skin extends out for the upper lip. There's a triangle that's a little bit darker there. That will help to create something of the form in that area. I've pretty well clearly emphasised the dark, but it's no harm. Watercolour dries a shade lighter, and it kind of causes me to continue the dark now down the face to establish the dark that's underneath the lower lip. That shadow that's under the lower lip is a very useful one. And I do still feel that it's maybe a little bit too dark, so I've wet the brush and I'm just extending and putting the water in so that I can pull the dark across the chin a little bit more. And I'll do the same here, I think. I meant I'll put some more dark in there. I'm still recording, because I've only 40 seconds left. So I'm going to do the upper lip, so putting a little bit of alizarin into that same dark colour. I'm going to establish the dark of the upper lip. And that's it, yeah. And then I'm going to sign off. And as I say, if you want to know more about me, have a look at the links below and get in touch. I try to answer my comments fairly often. Okay. Yeah, so that's the upper lip. And then the corner of the mouth is kind of established there. I'm not so bothered about the run. Later on I can lift out light again there. But the next thing, if I was going to do anything in the next 5 seconds, I'm going to do this and say goodbye to you. Shadow in the socket of the eye on this side.